Hello, I'm John Rohan, Director of Recreation right here at the Villages. It's with great pride today that we take you on a tour of our most spectacular regional recreation center to date, a magnificent tribute to one of America's greatest military commanders and the 34th President of the United States. And also to the countless men and women, many who live right here in the Villages, who fought bravely to defend our freedom. Welcome to the Eisenhower Regional Recreation Center.
Soldiers, sailors, and airmen of the Allied Expeditionary Force, you are about to embark upon the great crusade toward which we have striven these many months. The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you.
I just got goosebumps. I really did.
Did you?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
It was really quite a few years ago, I'd say 5 or 6 years ago, we thought, you know, we should really do something. There's so many veterans and so many people who have served their country that live here in the Villages, and it all just kind of made sense to us.
And there's Ike.
There he is. And Eisenhower, being a 5-star general, was the logical name of the place. The idea of using donations started with the local Marine Corps group. They had heard that we were going to have a rec center called Eisenhower, dedicated to thanking the military for their service. And they called me and asked me if they could donate something. And I said, absolutely, what a wonderful idea. And it snowballed. It was very hard for us to believe that families would want to give their personal effects to a recreation center, to the Villages.
Well, we don't perceive we're parting with them. What we perceive is we're sharing with our other military members and the residents of this great community. I can't find a place, and we moved 23 times in the military. I have never seen a place that was so patriotic and so concerned about giving to the veterans. And if they were willing, the Morris family, the design team, and everything was willing to give what they were willing to give, it was easy for me to just give a portion of what I have to share with others.
I look at it this way. Most of those items were stored in boxes and closets in my attic. I gave a few items to my grandson, and other than that, I said, they're going to sit in a box and no one will ever see them. When I donated them to the Eisenhower Center, I thought maybe they'll have some use. I had no idea they would be displayed in such a professional fashion. I mean, it's breathtaking to see the displays and what they have done with the articles that were donated. It is truly, truly a tribute to everyone who's ever served and everyone who's donated an item.
Because to me, again, it brought back to life everything that a lot of us that served in the military did. Most of all, I'm glad now that I got them out of the shoebox and they will bring them here and displayed, and they look nice. They did a great job displaying them. And, it means a lot to me.
It was hard to part with some of my items because, you know, I won't have them in my hands anymore, particularly my dress blues, because I thought I would be buried in them. But to see them as part of history, and other people will see that as part of history, is awesome for me, an awesome feeling.
There was one widow that mentioned that she was the last one in her family, and that when she passed on, what would become of her husband's personal effects. And this is a way for him to be honored by her and by us, and for his legacy to continue on.
John Fox was a corpsman who captured this on the island of Iwo Jima. His wife presented it to us after he passed away. She didn't know what to do with it. He earned the Bronze Star and the Purple Heart after being wounded on the island. And we felt that, we, the detachment, felt that it needed to be displayed, and this is an ideal opportunity for people to see a piece of history, as well as I'm hoping that there may be some relatives or descendants of some of the Marines who fought on Iwo Jima and captured the flag. And that's why I had the names, I typed the names on there and had them mounted so people can see them and maybe they know somebody on here.
We have about 350 framed pieces, but there's much more on display that isn't quite easily cataloged. Linda Deming, who is one of my designers that works with me, started cataloging and organizing everything, and then we spent months putting it together and organizing it and getting things framed and putting plaques on every item that was brought in here because we wanted to make sure that everyone knew who the donors were. The earliest we have is the Spanish-American War, and of course we have World War I, World War II. We have representation from the Vietnam War and Desert Storm, the Iraqi War, Afghanistan, Korean War. So we're pretty well represented, especially from this generation, but even more historical than that. There are so many stories that stand out. That one in particular is a series of telegraphs. One that tells the family that the person is missing. Then the second one tells them they found him and he's a prisoner of war. And the third telegraph tells the family that he's back in custody of the United States Army. And then the next two talk about him coming home. And it's just unbelievable.
Couldn't believe that you'd have so many people willing to donate so many private collections. I think that's really the most impressive thing.
I donated this flight helmet when I was a commanding officer of this squadron.
It's just incredible, the history that's in this building. It's absolutely incredible.
I think the residents, when they enter the front door, will feel a great sense of peace and honor. My father was in a couple weeks ago and he walked in the door with my sister and they both just stood there with tears running down their faces, and my dad said, "Boy, honey, it's just like walking into the White House." And I said, "Well, good, that's what I was looking for." And I think that, I hope that people feel the same way, and they realize that, like the White House, which is America's house, this is theirs. This is to honor them and to pay tribute to them.
Along with all the amenities you've come to enjoy with your village's recreation centers, the Eisenhower offers a unique destination full of remarkable history inspired by our great nation. Please visit our new Regional Recreation Center located on Buena Vista Boulevard, south of 466A, just a short golf cart ride from your neighborhood. Thanks for joining us for this edition of Email. We invite you to share this video with friends and family back home. Then stay tuned next month as we continue to look at what's happening in the villages.